What's up, everybody? Today is a special review. Special for me more because I have been really excited to get into reviewing these figures since I have so many of them. I'm just gonna start working my way through my own collection, but I had to do one special for this guy. I got him on a trade through a Storm Collectibles group member on a Storm Collectibles collecting group on Facebook, and I just couldn't hold and contain my excitement. So today we are going to be reviewing the Injustice Lobo by Storm Collectibles. Storm Collectibles is my favorite company, my favorite figures. I can't stress enough how much I love these figures. I started off collecting with them. I ripped through a whole bunch of them through trades, through all these crazy deals, finding them for steals wherever I could, and I am fully satisfied with my collection. And now we have this guy. So he's already out of the box. Let's get him on the table. Let's go through all the usuals. We're gonna go over his articulation. We're gonna do some size comparisons, and we're gonna go through all his badass accessories. So let's do this. I'm so stoked. So ladies and gentlemen, here he is in all of his glory. Now, I know I'm going into accessories later, but I had to just set him up with one of his alternate head sculpts, the obvious, the hook, his gun. He's just too damn cool. He's a big beefy boy, but the detail is out of this world. So let's go ahead and get this stuff off. We're gonna come back to this stuff later. Oh my god, I'm not gonna be able to get this out of his hand. There we go. All right. Let's unhook this. Okay. We're gonna put that stuff off to the side by Venom, who's chilling over, probably listening to some garbage music because he's a garbage knockoff figure. All right, so let's get this chain off of him. Plop that down. And let's get into this. So we're gonna just cover all the basics. You know the drill. He's got that great Storm Collectibles neck tilt with that neck joint, that double ball peg. You can get some walk like an Egyptian action going on. You can get your chicken peck going on, kind of. You get a partial chicken peck because of all his glorious locks of hair. You got that really good Storm Collectibles ab crunch. You get a pretty good back crunch, and there's no gap. I can't believe that there's no gap on this guy. When you do the forward crunch, though, it's all gap. It's the gap, right at your favorite mall. And that vest does get stuck in there. You're just gonna have to deal with that. All right, but otherwise, really good ab crunch. I know some Storms suffer from gap issues with the ab crunch, but you get a full waist rotation. He's a little squeaky because he's pretty fresh. You get full rotation here. That's a beautiful, beautiful rotation. Of course, not so beautiful gaps, but you know what? Just don't photograph them. All right, you got your T pose, effortless. Slight Y pose. He's got that vest that kind of hinders that, but you don't really need that. Full arm rotation. You got really good bicep swivel. You got your double jointed elbows, which of course, because of his massive biceps, you don't really get too much further than 90. All right, but that's still great. You got your regular wrist ball peg action, rotation, swivel, the whole nine. He's got one gauntlet here that is movable. That can come off as well. I assume you can swap it out. The chain that he gets is more to compensate on that other arm there. All right, now we got legs go out into pretty impressive almost split. I gotta say, that's pretty impressive for a thick-ass boy like this. You got a double jointed knee, which is, you get some pretty good rotation for that. Pretty good stuff for that. You got a soft rubberized plastic kneecap, which is, you know, kind of glued to a plastic piece there. But that works really well. My issue with him is the ankles. You're really not getting much. You're not getting much because of these shin guards here. But you know what? I'll take it. Because I'm a sucker for shin guards. If you watched my Mezco Gambit review, he's got some killer shin guards, and I was okay with it. The lack of the ankle rotation is fine. But you get a slight ankle rocker. You know, that twists very nicely. You get a really good toe pivot. That is all the way in. And that's going to be real nice. You can go back a decent amount. Forward is pretty much out of the question. But again, not a crime. You got thigh swivel, which is perfect. Works really well. Now, his accessories and his vest and stuff like that can become cumbersome when you're trying to pose. It likes to ride up. You got to kind of keep folding it down. His hair can get in the way, but we will get into how to fix that later. But otherwise, he is, you know, flawless as usual. Storm Collectibles never disappoints. I feel like every time I open one, it becomes my new favorite figure. So let's get into his accessories. Let's get him posed up again, and then we're gonna we're gonna go through those. And just, you're gonna want to buy him even more than you already do now. I know you want to right now, so just do it. Do it now while you're watching this, and then you can feel that much better about it while you're watching me go through it. And just imagine yourself when you unbox him, when he gets to your house. It's gonna be amazing. So we'll be right back. I forgot to go over his vest. Look at that vest. It's got that simulated leather texture. This is all raised and textured. This is just so beautifully sculpted and well done. These spikes are really soft plastic. I also didn't really brag about these butterfly joints enough. They're huge, but they're beautiful. Any kind of movement you need him to be hunched, you want him to be way out back. It's gonna be so just natural feeling and great. So on we go. So let's get into these accessories. We have all his default stuff on. That's how he came in the box, and we're gonna go through everything here. So let's start with his weapons. He's got his little sawed-off shotgun here. It says boom. It's got that spike on it. I love the paint job. It's real weathered looking, real beat up. Storm just does this, like, just the best job on accessories and effect parts and all that cool stuff. All right, we got his little Maui hook from Moana. It's pretty badass. Mine came a little bent, but you know, some hot water will fix that. We'll get that in there, and that'll be looking fine. That's got a chain to attach to your longer chain. Now, I love that he comes with a real chain. On the one end of it is going to have a loop. Now that loop is what you're gonna do, is how you're gonna put it on. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your Jason Momoa here, you're gonna pop off that hand, you're gonna stick that loop right over the ball peg there, right onto the base of his wrist, and you're gonna pop that hand right back on, like so. All right, and then what you would most likely do is wrap it up around his forearm so he kind of has like a gauntlet on that end. So we can try and do that really quick. You're just gonna wrap that chain around, just looking super cool. All right, and then you're gonna have that hanging just like that. And then you can attach your hook via the clip on the end of this. There's a small little clip, and that'll attach to that, and then you can hold his weapon there. So he's got 2 alternate head sculpts. He's got one with his maniacal smile, which looks really just killer. The hair's also more swept back. There's none of the front here. So that'll help you with your head articulation. It's very limited, obviously, in that location because of all his hair. And then we're gonna have my favorite, the crazy smile with the cigar. Now the cigar does not come out. Believe me, I tried. I know he comes with a cigar. I just didn't know. I thought that was the cigar it comes with. All right, so speaking of that, I am forgetting. Speaking of that, here it is. He comes with an extra cigar. Now, this cigar is not going to see use on this Lobo because I have my Revoltech Wolverine, and that comes with a cigar hand. It comes with a pinching hand specifically for holding a cigar, and I now have one for him, and I could not be more stoked because I was gonna have my friend Peter just make one because he is super talented with custom things. We have just some straight hair. So if you want to have one of these hair sculpt or one of these head sculpts and you want to use one of the other heads of hair, these just pop off, and then you can pop this into the hair with the one in the front. You got to make sure you line that up right because I clearly am not doing that. So a very similar situation with, there we go. So there he goes. Just hidden behind that hair, looking just sick and awesome. And then we got our hands. We have our larger trigger hands, which I am convinced these are for motorcycle handlebars because they are too big for the sawed-off shotgun. While it does fit in there, and it fits in there perfect, but look at all that extra room. It's almost as if you want to use the middle finger to go in there, which clearly doesn't work. So I think they're going to be releasing a motorcycle at some point. They have to. We have our actual trigger hands. Now these are going to be for your shotgun. That fits a lot more naturally. That fits a lot better. No room, nothing hanging off. That's what that's going to be for. And then we have our item holding hands. That's going to be for your hook and for really whatever else you want to give them. You can kind of give them anything. If you have the Aries, which I have my eye on soon. Well, I want to have my hands on it soon, but I have my eye on it now. So I forgot to mention, these hands also will fit your cigar. So that's what I think these are for, now that I think about it. So there's your hand right there. Your cigar is going to go right in there, and it's going to fit right in there perfectly. Hold that up to his hand. You can just hold that. Throw some smoke in there with Photoshop. It'll look amazing. All right, but I'm going to use mine for my Revoltech Wolverine because he needs it. So I'm going to put that back in his little bag before I lose it. I also forgot to mention there's a holster for your shotgun. And that slides right in. You're going to push that. You're going to help it. You're going to need to kind of help it in a little more so you don't damage it, but that slides all the way in. And now that's just there. And that's on a small little peg that's connected to his belt. You can see that. But yeah, that's his whole deal with accessories. We're going to do some size comparisons. I got some huge beefy boys we can compare him to because he is a beefy boy. And we're going to get a moral of the story together. And I'm just going to essentially just convince you to buy this. Alright, so we'll be right back. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and line him up next to a whole bunch of Storm Collectibles figures. And you're going to see how well he stacks up to some of your larger figures. So first, we're going to start off with a Storm Collectibles Street Fighter II Zangief. They are pretty much spot on in terms of height. He's pretty much not. He's pretty much as tall as he can get. He doesn't have much of a neck, so he loses that little bit. And then we're gonna have, for our next large boy, we got, again, Street Fighter 2 Sagat, who is taller by, you know, a decent amount. But again, not tall enough to the point where he's going to look, you know, like David and Goliath level staggered. So let's get rid of these guys. And then we're going to go with some normal sized storms. We're going to go with our Mortal Kombat 3 Scorpion. We have a Tekken 7 Kazuya with his maroon pants. Just looking amazing. Of course, the MK Ninjas are going to be dwarfed by someone as large as him. But Kazuya's not too bad, especially with his hair being all spiky and whatnot. Alright, so we're going to throw 2 more storms in here. We're going to go again with Street Fighter. We have our Street Fighter 2 Violent Ken, where he's nice and tan, as opposed to the regular Ken, who is just, you know, a little more pasty. And then we're going to have our King of Fighters, Orochi Iori, who is a very tall figure, but fits with him really well. Lobo's a massive dude. That's just how it works. That is how it works. Okay, so that's enough for Storm. We're going to throw 3 other lines in there, maybe 4. We have our Marvel Legends Omega Red, who is normally a tall figure compared to Mezco's, but not so much next to this gigantic dude that we know and love as Lobo. And then we're going to go ahead and put our McFarlane Gotham Knights Red Hood. You know, all these are looking tiny against him because, you know, he's a big guy. Alright, so let's get these out of here. And then for 2 more, we're going to throw in a Mezco 112 Collective Wolverine, who doesn't enjoy standing, but look at that, he did it. He did it, yes, applause. Alright, and then we're going to throw in a Mafex Hush, who of course is tiny. Tiny guy, doesn't enjoy standing, but he likes guns, and he came with a gun, and I appreciate that, because, you know, DC. But yeah, that is what you're going to be dealing with. If you're putting him with anything that's not a Storm figure, he's going to dwarf any normal Storm figures. But the larger guys, your Zangief, your Sagat, Shao Kahn, Goro, Motaro, Kintaro when he comes out, I'm very excited for that too. It's going to be fine, and he's going to look good wherever you put him because he just looks good. He looks fantastic. So we'll be back. I'm going to be right back with a moral of the story, and I should be back by the time you click checkout when you buy him. Alright, so moral of the story is obvious. Just buy him. If you are a collector of Storm figures, even if you're not a DC fan, even if you're not a fighting game fan, I have recently become more and more of a DC fan, and Injustice was a big gateway to that for me. I used to collect some comics back in the day. I actually have a box right here. I was getting big on the DC Rebirths. I have a ton of them. I was getting the Batman, All-Star Batman. I was getting, you know, Aquaman. I was getting a lot of different ones. But I really was introduced to Lobo hardcore through the Injustice games, and he was a character I like to pick a lot because he is just awesome. He is your badass motorcycle kick-ass guy with the long hair and the guns and the chains, and, you know, DC, I'm sure, has the equivalent of a Ghost Rider, but he's one of my favorite DC villains. And I think it's awesome for us to have this figure in Storm, to have released it and have done such a flawless job, as they usually do. I'm going to be getting into the King of Fighters line, and they are immaculate figures. Every single one of them has been just completely immaculate, and I can't wait to review those. But again, just buy this guy. That chain is worth it alone. This head sculpt with the cigar is worth it alone. Just the freaking cigar is worth it alone. Just do it. His shotgun says boom. He has a real chain. He smokes. I can't. You're insane if by the end of this video you haven't purchased one. Even if you're getting scalped, join some of these groups on Facebook. Just get him. I want to get my hands on a Bane next and review him, but he's even worse. But again, if you've made it through this whole thing, thank you again for watching. You know the drill, all that stuff. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed it. If you want me to do some more Storm figure reviews, go ahead and leave me some requests in the comments. If you have any questions about any of these figures, again, go ahead and leave me any questions or anything you might need to say. Go ahead and voice your opinions in my comments, because I do pay attention to this and I want to interact with you all that are watching and hopefully enjoying. So again, thank you for watching, and I will see you back for the next one.